So, you know that feeling when you slice your finger on the edge of a piece of paper? You kind of curse under your breath, maybe run it under the tap, slap a bandage on it, and then completely forget about it. We've all been there. But have you ever wondered what actually happens the exact second you get a paper cut? Because right beneath the surface of your skin, an absolutely epic invisible disaster relief operation immediately kicks off. It's this highly coordinated biological cascade that is honestly as violent as it is miraculous.
Welcome to this explainer on the biology of wound healing. Today, we're going to shrink down, look right under the microscope, and explore the incredible emergency response system that literally saves your life every single time your tissue is injured.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to cover the 3 phases of healing, the inflammatory first responders, those all-important chemical messengers, the immune cleanup crew, tissue formation, and finally, tissue remodeling. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, the 3 phases of healing.
It helps to think of your body as a really highly efficient city government. When a crisis occurs, like a wound, it doesn't just run around in a panic. It executes a very strict 3-step protocol. Step 1 is the inflammation process. That's all about securing the injury site. Step 2 is tissue formation, the active rebuilding phase, and Step 3 is tissue remodeling, which is all about the long, slow finishing touches. And the crazy thing is, every single wound you get goes through this exact same coordination.
Section 2, first responders, inflammatory phase.
At second 0, the biological alarm rings. The tissue is breached. Within literally minutes of your paper cut, cells called neutrophils are already on the scene fighting off microscopic invaders. By the 24-hour mark, macrophages are sweeping in for cleanup duty. As the days pass, the active rebuilding begins, and then over months, the tissue completely remodels itself. But those first few minutes, it's an absolute frenzy down there as your blood components rush straight to the breach to lock it down.
Now, the immediate heroes of this chaotic first phase are your platelets. You can imagine platelets as biological sandbags trying to stop a flood. The very moment your tissue is cut, exposed collagen acts as a trigger. The platelets physically touch this exposed collagen in the extracellular matrix, and this contact makes them clump together and degranulate. Basically, they drop their entire payload of clotting factors to plug up the hole. But they don't just stop the bleeding. They also release these essential growth factors and cytokines, like PDGF and TGF-beta, which essentially act as dispatch signals calling for immediate backup.
Section 3, chemical messengers guiding the repair.
So you might be wondering, how do billions of microscopic cells coordinate this massive construction project without a central brain? Well, they use cytokines. Cytokines are soluble chemical mediators, which sounds complex, but honestly, you can just think of them as the body's chemical text messages. The wound environment is incredibly chaotic, with cells constantly moving and transforming. So cytokines like IL-1, IL-6, and IL-10 are the text zipping back and forth, regulating the whole immune response and making sure the right cells show up at the exact right time.
Let's actually look at the who's who of these chemical messengers. Take PDGF, for instance. It's essentially your site foreman. It stimulates DNA synthesis and recruits fibroblasts to start laying down new structural materials. Then you have TGF-beta. That's your adhesion manager, regulating how cells stick together, how they move, and eventually how the wound scars. And then we have IL-10, which I really like to call the pacifier. It has anti-inflammatory properties. Its absolutely crucial job is to limit the immune response so that your own body doesn't accidentally destroy healthy tissue while it's trying to fight off an infection. It is entirely about balance. And that balance is literally a matter of life and death. Acute inflammation, which is what happens right after your paper cut, is super protective. It clears infections and gets the repair going. But if those chemical text messages get deregulated and the alarm never shuts off, you end up with chronic, non-resolving inflammation. The exact same biological pathways that heal a tiny cut are actually implicated in some pretty severe diseases when they go wrong. Studies show this deregulation is linked to atherosclerosis, tumor development, and even neuroinflammation in Alzheimer's disease. So, acute inflammation saves you, but chronic inflammation can destroy you.
Section 4, the cleanup crew, immune cells.
Okay, so once the chemical messages are sent out and the alarm is ringing, it is time for the heavy physical lifting at the disaster site. I mean, you can't build a new house on top of a collapsed one, right? You have to clear the rubble first, and that is exactly what macrophages do. They are the ultimate cleanup crew. They sweep in during the resolution and regeneration stages to scavenge large cell debris and swallow up all the dead, spent neutrophils.
How vital are they? Well, experiments using zebrafish models have actually shown that if you deplete macrophages, cell debris just builds up, vacuoles start to form, and the whole speed of tissue regeneration slows way down. You absolutely need the cleanup crew.
So here is your main crew for this phase. Neutrophils are your biological SWAT team. They arrive in minutes and use reactive oxygen species to destroy microorganisms. They are strictly there for defense and phagocytosis, which is basically just eating the enemy. Then the macrophages sweep in to clear all that leftover debris and start secreting growth factors. Finally, we have T lymphocytes acting as site regulators, helping to tightly control the overall parameters of the healing process. They work together incredibly seamlessly to prep the site for rebuilding.
Section 5. Rebuilding. Tissue formation phase.
Now the infection is neutralized, the rubble is totally cleared out. So the methodical rebuilding finally begins. This physical rebuilding process involves a few highly demanding tasks. First, the body has to resurface the skin, a process called re-epithelialization. It also must undergo angiogenesis, which is the really incredible feat of building entirely new blood vessels just to supply the construction site. It initiates fibroplasia, which is laying down fibrous tissue, and finally wound contraction, where the body literally exerts mechanical force to pull the edges of your wound back together.
Now, coordinating this massive rebuilding effort requires a very special type of cell, the endogenous mesenchymal stem cell, or MSC for short. Think of MSCs as the supreme site managers. They are self-renewing and they're multipotent. That means they have this incredible ability to differentiate into various types of tissue depending on what is absolutely needed right then and there, whether that's bone, cartilage, tendon, or fat. They orchestrate the entire reconstruction by recruiting other host cells and secreting the necessary matrix proteins. They are the true architects bringing the body's blueprints to life.
Section 6. The final phase. Tissue remodeling.
At this point, the wound is closed up, but we now enter the longest and final phase of healing, tissue remodeling. And this part takes months. The quick-fix materials that were just rapidly thrown down during the emergency phase are slowly, methodically replaced. The dermis starts producing highly organized collagen and matrix proteins, striving to return the tissue to exactly how it was before you got hurt. It's kind of like the difference between just patching a hole in your drywall with some tape and properly plastering, sanding, and painting it so you'd never even know it was broken in the first place. It is a slow, really beautiful finishing touch.
And this actually brings us to the cutting edge of what science is doing with all this information today. Because we now understand these microscopic pathways, researchers are literally learning how to hack them. Remember TGF-beta, our adhesion manager from earlier? Well, research indicates that introducing a synthetic TGF-beta is highly effective in accelerating wound healing and visibly reducing scarring. They've already proven this in pig skin burn models and rabbit skin excision models. So we aren't just passively observing the disaster relief effort anymore, we're actually learning how to give the microscopic workers better tools.
Which leaves us with this final thought for today. Right now, your body does an amazing job of patching you up after a paper cut, an accident, or a surgery. But it often leaves a scar, which is basically a biological compromise. But if science can learn to perfectly master these cytokines, these stem cells, and these chemical messengers, could we one day heal severe wounds entirely without a trace? The biology of wound healing isn't just about understanding our past injuries. It might just be the absolute key to perfect regeneration in the future. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep marveling at the incredible machinery just under your skin.